Welcome back, everybody, to the May Q&A here on the podcast. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can actually catch the full-length video over on our YouTube channel. I'll link that all down in the show notes below. But each month, we try to give you a little bit more insight into our perspective, a little bit behind the scenes of the Everforward brand and just how we go about our training, our fitness, our mindset, personal development, all the above. And we open up a Q&A on my personal Instagram, as well as share it out on the Everforward Radio Instagram account. So again, if you're not following those, they'll all be linked down in the show notes below. And the last episode of each month is always gonna be a Q&A. This month I got the little bro, Maxx Chewning here joining me. We're gonna dive into a Q&A and we're gonna do some like individual questions, some joint ones. Again, all geared around fitness, nutrition, and mindset development. Aight? So Lauren Tickner asks, what would be the number one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self? So Max is 28, I'm 32, and we have all gone through kind of like a college, getting jobs, transitioning out, doing this, what you're watching and listening to now. So I think this is really applicable for mindset development. So what would you say, one piece of advice for your 20-year-old self?
I would say just enjoy the moment and enjoy the time that you're in. I think even back then I was kind of overstressing a lot of things that probably didn't really mean a lot at the time, whether it be like relationships, just overthinking social groups and social status, and just focus more on enjoying yourself, enjoying time with your friends. And the older you get, the more you learn that the small things really don't matter as much as you think they do at the time. So don't stress.
Yeah, I would echo that. And I guess getting really specific to my 20-year-old self, by 20 years old, I had already been in the Army for almost 3 years, like a little over 2 years. So at 20 years old, where was I? I just got into my first real duty station in San Antonio. Yeah, if you're someone who's young and in the military joining, I would say my advice to you, my advice to myself then would be like remember where you are in life. Like, yes, you're in a really unique position. You're in the military. Your life is different than someone maybe in college or school or getting their first job. You have a lot of other duties and responsibilities, but don't forget that you're still a 20-year-old person. You should be enjoying things. You should be going out, having fun, making mistakes. That's what your early 20s are all about. So wherever you are, like where Max was getting started in college, I was halfway through almost my military career. Just remember where you are in life and like just enjoy it. It's okay to like make mistakes, but still uphold your duties and responsibilities, I guess. Okay, this is good for like the fitness stuff. How competitive were you and me when we were growing up? Like sports, extracurriculars, lifting. I think that really kind of maybe helped build a baseline for a lot of because our life, a big part of our life is fitness. So maybe we wouldn't have that same respect for it if we didn't like grow up. We played sports, but it was never really like super competitive.
No, playing sports is a exaggeration of what I tried to do. I tried all the Pee Wee stuff. I did like soccer and baseball, but I didn't stick with them for long periods of time. I did wrestling early in high school. I was never huge. I mean, I think everyone wants to win, and when you especially when you're in a sport, you want your team to win, or in wrestling it's more individual.
I want to win.
Yeah, and like I didn't start lifting until I was like a sophomore in college, so I don't think anything I did in my younger years added to my like competitiveness of wanting to dominate in fitness.
Yeah, I would echo that too, because even when I played baseball a lot, like t-ball all the way up through like middle school, a little bit of high school. I did lacrosse for like a year, but I just enjoyed it because I just like getting out and moving around. I honestly couldn't care less if we won or lost or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not a really competitive person in terms of like trying to be like another team or another individual.
Yeah.
I guess I'm competitive with myself. I try to do better each year. But like, I mean, shoot, whenever I go to play like pick up basketball with like my friends and stuff, like I'm like amazed at how serious they take it. Like, and I'm like, man, I shouldn't be playing the guys because I'm just gonna be joking around and stuff, and they're like acting like they're on they act like it was like the Cavs game last night for them. Like this recreational pickup game at American Family is like gonna change their life if they win that night. I'm just like, why do you care so much?
That
like,
pickup game in the office where like upstairs
Yeah.
plays the downstairs and they just get way too into it. Like, chill, bro.
Yeah, I just got a bunch of friends who really like basketball, and they get really into it. I'm just like, I'm just not gonna play because you guys are way too aggressive at this. Like,
So I guess to like specifically answer the question, it didn't really make us competitive with each other, but yeah, I would definitely agree with you that it helped us, I think, develop the skills to become competitive with ourselves and like just get used to moving and sport and being active and stuff in general, for sure. If you could take one physical aspect and one personality trait from the other to call your own, what would they be? Well, I would definitely take your deadlift for sure. Of course, that's a given.
I like how it's not my strength; it's just my deadlift. They don't correlate to each other.
Yeah, I would do that. I mean, because that's always been like a big like obstacle for me. Like past injuries and stuff, I know I'm never gonna probably get to that point, but like it's just amazing to me that
Well, not many people
human
can
body's
reach.
capable.
Not many people can reach the strength levels that I'm at.
Or-
at my physical size, it's just
Or the small ego size. Like
scientists are
his
still
head
trying to figure it
just-
out.
it does blow my mind.
I'd probably say I don't know. I don't really know Chase. He doesn't ever come to my gym, so I wouldn't know what he can do physically. But I
He
assume
never comes to my gym.
I assume, why would I come to your apartment gym?
Because it's a dope gym.
I think that he's like flexible, probably because he does a lot of mobility. He's mobile, so I'd probably take that. Not
Yoga people saves lives.
Yeah, I don't really work. I don't do a lot of mobility and stuff. I just do like a lot of dynamic warm ups. So it's just the movement that I'm doing. I don't kind of do anything else. So not that I'm saying it's a bad thing. I'm sure it'd be better if I did, but that's probably like a thing I would take.
And physical attribute, I would take Max's calves, because sometimes when you're like me and your calves are just so big, like it's just such a problem all the time that people are always comparing you and like just following you around.
I got small calves, small knees.
I will say though, when I was running like all the time, every day in the military, like I had huge calves. Like I miss that. Calves are nice.
Calves are just genetic. It's not
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, but moving right along. Okay, I'm gonna tee this up for you because I think you're more of a veteran in it than I am. What's one trick or tip you would give someone trying to juggle a full-time job, school, and fitness? I think this is something that a lot of the Everforward radio audience for sure, but definitely most people follow you and me. Like this is where they are in life, trying to balance all this stuff at the same time.
I mean, I never looked when I was balancing it all. I never looked for like a lot of people look for external motivation, and like they need people to tell them what to do. They need this guidance. They need someone to motivate them. They need to read some inspirational quotes. They need to do all this stuff, and that's just not who I am. That's not who I've been. I know it works for a lot of people to always kind of have that like daily motivation or like daily inspiration, or thank goodness this person uploaded this thing that told me to push through. And for me, I just always focused on myself and my internal motivation. And for me, it was just like I just did the damn thing. Like I didn't, there was times when I was really tired. There's times when I complained, and it's just like everything. If someone wants to be exactly where I am, and someone wants to, and you have a lot on your plate, trust me, I've had exactly the same plate, or you. I mean, maybe some people have some, more serious maybe family issues or relationship issues, but I mean I've done the like I worked a full-time job at a full-time social media, and I'm not just talking about like I was. Some people are like, yeah, I make YouTube videos like that, but I'm like I was in it, like I was in the grind, like I was putting out 4 videos a week on YouTube, also doing all the other socials. I had a full-time job. I had a social life. I had a girlfriend at one point. I also was starting the clothing line. If you got that much on your plate and you're saying I can't do it, be like, well, a skinny guy did it, So it's just like just do the work, do the damn thing, and like you'll make priority. Everyone always tells you like prioritize what is important to you, and it's very true. And like there wasn't days when I'm like, Max, push through this, man, you got this. It was just like, hey, I really want to be successful in this avenue, because I see the prospects of one thing, me being the social media and the apparel, and I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it until it takes off. And it slowly did it, and then it just like because I put in all that work, and now it's very successful. Now I'm doing very well in my social media game, and now I never got to a point where I was like I reached it, and then I'm like smooth sailing. No, it's like now my clothing is even better. My production value, my videos are even better. Like
you probably even have way more on your plate now than before, right? It's just you're juggling different balls than it's the new set of balls that you're juggling compared to way before.
It's just different, and a lot of people will look at like my life and maybe be like that. Like, well, your life is so much easier now because you don't have a job. And I'm like, yeah, in a lot of aspects, there are a lot of benefits, but I also have a lot of different tasks and things to do, and it just because what my tasks are seem like a better set of tasks than someone else's doesn't mean that they don't add any extra stress onto my day just because they're maybe cooler than what you're doing. Like, but it's at the end of the day, it's like no matter when you stop one job, you're going to be starting a new job. You're not going to try to leave your main job so you don't have to work anymore. You're going to always be working, always going to be, I hate the stupid word grinding, but like you're always going to be like trying to do better in the avenue that, brings you, a mental stimulus or a financial stimulus or like something that like you're kind of chasing after and pushing yourself. So it's like, it never stops. Like it's constantly revolving in terms of what you're doing, and everything that I'm doing now. Am I going to be doing the exact same thing in 5 years? Maybe, possibly, maybe not. But you best believe in 5 years, if I'm not doing this, that I'm going to be working equally as hard at the next thing that I try to go after.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% everything he said, and what kind of like the coachable moment here. What I would say, some underlying terms, is that Maxx was really beneficial in the sense, was really successful in that he had a lot of intrinsic motivation. He didn't rely on or need a lot of external motivation like he was talking about in the beginning. He didn't need a lot of outside sources helping him, pulling him in the direction, because he had all that innate in himself. And in a lot of ways, I would say that I'm the same way, but I think a big thing that I struggle with and getting to the point where I am now, and this being my life, was that I was hazy, and I wasn't sure the difference between motivation and discipline. And I think where Maxx and I differ in that is that he had a lot of discipline in the beginning of balancing all of these things, and it took me a little while to kind of formulate that. So I would say if you are struggling to balance all these things, or you feel like it is too much, but you have that passion, you have that drive, you have that gut feeling that this is what you want to do, whatever your side hustle, whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, is that get really clear with yourself, have a hard conversation with yourself. Do you need the motivation? Do you need that external drive? Someone, a mentor, a friend, a peer, a coach, whatever, to help pull you in that direction? You need that external drive, or can you just have a hard conversation with yourself, divide all the bullshit, and be like, no, I have the intrinsic motivation, I have enough discipline, I don't need motivation. And once you get clear on your truth and who you are, then you can figure out, okay, I just need to work harder on myself because I can do it, or I need to leverage what I do well and look for the motivation, look for someone to kind of help me along, look for a peer, mentor, whatever. So I think just figuring out, knowing who you are and what you need and what you don't need, I think is probably the best way to make sure that you're juggling and going in the right direction, basically.
Yeah, I would, to finalize on it, I would say I think it's a lot of people, again, need a lot of external kind of help and whatnot, but at the end of the day, I think the more that you always rely on needing your handheld in a lot of situations, maybe to get going, but I think that in the long run, you're gonna want to eventually transition out of that. I think it's always good. I think I'm not someone who is like this, but I know that a lot of people have what they call mentors, right? Throughout a long period, even when they're I'm so successful, that's still my mentor, and that's fantastic for a lot of people.
Various forms of accountability.
But I think there are certain types of people that have the mentors that are killing it, but there's certain types of people that have mentors because they feel that they can never let go because they can't do it themselves. They always need not directly, but they're handheld. They always need help. They always need this, and you need to transition. And maybe you need coaching for a while, but eventually
it should serve you for a period of time.
Yeah,
and that may be really, really heightened accountability in the beginning, but then as you move along, as you progress, it should be less and less and less, if at all. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, I'll answer this one. Do the 30 suck? The age. No, honestly, for me, it's always just been a number. I remember when I turned 30, I remember when I turned 21, I remember, I'll be 33 in a couple months. And I think for me it is just a number because I try to always have fun in everything that I'm doing. Also, I think people associate age to sucking or getting quote unquote older because you're not taking care of yourself. You're not taking care of yourself externally, internally. You're not eating the right things. You're not honoring this one thing that you've been given to live this one life with. So people like hit 30 and they're like, oh God, like I'm so much more dehydrated. I'm so much more stiff. Like I stubbed my toe and I'm recovering for a month. I think if you can just do the work all along the process, which I feel like I've done a good job. I've always tried to be active. We grew up playing. We always knew what it was. We always knew what it was to be outside. We always knew what it was to have a sense of family. We ate the food that we grew. Our grandparents had a garden. So in a way, I think we've had a kind of a leg up in that sense that our nature and nurture both set us up for success now. But even from a young age, like it's like a running joke now, but it's not a joke because it's my life. I've been taking the same multivitamin, same supplements for like 12 years, every day for 12 years. And I always abide by Maxx does the same thing. We get our health in, we get our multivitamin, we get our greens in. We do these things to take care of the one thing that we only have. And then if you take care of yourself, then life will take care of you along the way. So if you're feeling your age, I would challenge you to go back and, again, like I was saying earlier, have a brutal conversation with yourself about what are you doing, what are you not doing, what are you eating, what are you not doing. The physical health, the mental health, I just developed a lisp all of a sudden. Emotional health, all of those things contribute to what we always talk about, living a life ever forward. It's not just one angle, it's multifaceted. You can't just go into the gym, lift a bunch of heavy weight and have it all figured out. You need to have your relationship squared away, you need to have your hydration squared away, you need to have your nutrition squared away. All of these things, that's what contributes to living a life ever forward. And that's what makes my 30s not suck. Honestly, I'm looking forward to each year, each day, because I know I learn a little bit more, I apply a little bit more, and it just makes me a better person. Hopefully makes all the people around me, my family, my friends better because I'm sharing that experience, I'm sharing that knowledge. So just figure out maybe where you're doing yourself a disservice and go from there. More often than not, I would say it's not the age. Now this, again, thank you everybody for the questions. I'm gonna kind of not ask quite a few because I wanted to keep this very, very pertinent to the platform for which you're going to hear it and see it, the podcast and the video here, all around fitness, nutrition, mindset, all the things that we say help contribute to living a life ever forward. Well, I got you here, bro. What's like in the apparel side of things? Like where are we going with ever forward, man?
A lot of stuff in the works. When I started the brand a long time ago, I was watching some videos the other night and I've seen older pieces of apparel and stuff, and it's cool to see the transition. But it's definitely gone from a point where it was logos on a T-shirt to now turning into a brand. The direction that I'm kind of veering it is more on the, I hate the word lifestyle, but lifestyle buzzword, more like the casual stuff. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people who kind of do the same thing with apparel, they create things that they like. They create things that have relevance to who they are as an individual.
Solving your own problems.
Yeah.
What have I been looking for?
So I mean, because it's so people when they know the. I'd say most people who know the brand is or know the apparel know who I am, right? So it makes sense for me to create items that I really enjoy wearing, that my friends really enjoy wearing. And for me specifically, it's not the trend. I don't hate trendy stuff, but I don't go with the streetwear. That's not a thing. And I know that a lot of people look really good in it. A lot of people, it does really well. It sells very well. It's very cool in its own fashion. It's just not for me. So obviously it's not you, it's the consumer. But at the end of the day, if I create pieces of apparel that I would never even wear, then it's not. I think that takes away.
If you create something that you never see, or we never see you wear, or none, no one in the family would wear, that doesn't look good.
But a really cool direction. We're kind of cleaning up cleaning up the image, separating the performance from the casual side of things, and really just like branding into something that I'm very proud of. I put a lot of work into this and a lot of time, and things always are delayed, and it's not because I'm not on top of my game, it's because it takes a long time, and I'm kind of a perfectionist with the clothing now, and I'm trying to get it to a level where it's changing the game in terms of the angle that I'm approaching at it. A lot of brands haven't tried to have like they have like the performance and the lifestyle, but like I'm drastically going like I'm not creating items that you can wear in and out of the gym. I'm creating items that are meant to be worn in the gym, and then I'm creating items that are meant to be worn out of the gym, and they're drastically different from each other, all bearing the same logo and same name, which is I think a bold step, because it can be nervous for, or it can be nerve-wracking for a lot of brands, because they don't. It's like then it kind of seems like your mindset and your direction is all over the place, and you're just trying to mix it because you're too afraid to go in one or the other 100%. But I truly think that if the way that I do it, it will be successful, and I've seen a lot of success.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think if you do it the right way, you can have a separate, same brand, same logo, two separate lines, all bearing the same thing. So you can pull deadlift PR, wearing some compressions, and then immediately get home, shower, and throw on a polo or throwing a button down, and just a lot of cool items that, like, again, it's less about. In the beginning, it was just logos on a T-shirt. Now it's more like I've just passion has gone into it, and when you get a lot of items from the brand, you can tell that the quality is there. And
absolutely,
not saying that I haven't always wanted it to be in the past, but like learning, improving details, little things. It's been cool.
And I would definitely echo the part of like where I definitely see 2018 just being such a huge growth year for Everford, as the brand is just like, it's because of like, you watching this right now, listening to this right now, it's been such an amazing feedback component of wearing a shirt, listening to an interview, connecting with a coach, any like the videos we put out, the content we put out, like that's what I love most about the Everford brand, where I see it growing even more this year, is because we are both leveling up everything that we're contributing to the brand as a whole, and a rising tide raises all ships. And so I think that the more that we see and hear the engagement for you all, and the impact that it's having on your life, ripping a PR off the ground in the gym with some cool compression pants, going to change into a button down, listening to a podcast on your drive home, tracking things on your EF Coach app, all these things that I'll go back and say it again, helping you live a life Everford. It is multifaceted, and the brand is multifaceted, and it's all headed in the same direction of trying to just be what it needs to be, in terms of honoring legacy and bringing value to our lives, because I know you're the same way. The more like you get better at your craft, the more I get better at my craft, like it makes all of this better at the same time. So just as a brand as a whole, we thank you guys so much for your support, for your engagement, for sharing, for wearing everything. If you're listening to this and you can't see us, Maxx and I are both in Everford Apparel. We just had a recent launch, like a lot of new women's tops, right? Two, like 2 weeks ago. Still have some stuff. It'll all be linked down in the show notes below. But make sure you stay tuned. All this stuff is always linked. You can find EF Coach, radio, apparel, and just if you support one thing, you support all things. So to that we say thank you. And I think it's a good Q&A. Thank you guys so much for your questions. We'll be doing these.
We only answered like 3, but I guess they're longer.
Yeah, we kind of get long-winded, I guess. But I wanted to keep this really specific to the fitness nutrition mindset for the podcast platform. Of course, we'll be sharing the video out as well. But I think EF at its core, it is. It's a lot of things, and it's hard to share all those things in a confined space and time. But each month, the last episode of the month is going to be a Q&A. This month, you get to see and hear both Maxx and I. So thank you guys for your time. That's going to be a wrap for this month's episode. We'll see you in the next one.
Cool.